So I'm excited to be back with you all. Were those stories just absolutely wonderful, Chandria and team? Thank you so much. And Chandria, stay on with me. Maybe you can, we can talk back and forth a little bit too. I love the background she has behind her, don't you think? I mean, look at those capsules. It just makes you want to run in the kitchen and eat up a few more. Okay, they're so good. Excited to be with you all tonight. I think I've met most everyone. My name's Cheryl Cortese, and I'm kind of the mama of this group, okay? But I've been with the Juice Plus Company now for 35, almost 35 years. I have to say tonight, the stories were amazing. Barbara, your story, I mean, it warms my heart when I really see people that have such amazing results. And I mean, Jennifer, I'm really feeling pitiful. I mean, if you can, I have to admire you so much. You're swimming every morning, you're walking, you're all of that amount. I'm thinking, ooh, I'm way behind over here. I'm gonna have to get my act together. But that's amazing. And they're so powerful because they validate over and over and over, what we're about, what we stand for, what our community is. And today I have to share with you, it was this whole pandemic. This is the first time I've really been out to do a live presentation. I have a chiropractor that has started back up again. It's been a couple of years that they've been more or less silent from a business standpoint. And it just felt so good to have a room full of people you could see, touch, you could smile at, and talk about the Juice Plus product in our business today. So tonight we're going to continue. If you remember, last week we talked about Darren Hardy, and he's quite a great business philosopher, especially in relation to this particular profession, and talked about what people are looking for from a business standpoint. And of course, we know that our product is what underscores the success of the business that we have. And yet at the same time, I want to really make sure that, we are well aware that we are in a very powerful profession, and one that can totally change people's lives. And in so many ways, health certainly, community, which is so important, especially now. I mean, so many people really, loneliness is a huge issue, epidemic proportion at this point coming out of this pandemic. So we bring to people a social life, we bring to people the joy of each other. All of those things are really important. And we also have that responsibility in life to make a living and to not only do well and step out of financial fear yourself, but be able to help other people do that is huge. And that's a great service and gift in itself. So we were talking last time about, as a business analyst, more or less look at what are people looking for today. And the 5 things that were listed was that people want to be part of something that is not only mentally energizing, but they want to be part of something that makes a difference, that has purpose. They want to be alongside like-minded people who are wanting to play an A game, that really want to step up and be part of positive change in the world. They want a path that gives them the ability to grow and reach higher levels, not only stretching themselves from a standpoint of growth, both personal and business, but helping other people do the same thing. They want that personal growth. And of course, all of these things really, in the past, you would have heard income as the very first criteria. Today, income's still an important part of business. We are in business to do well and help other people do well. But the other things that go along with it now have a lot of personal and altruistic, I guess you would say, components to them that we may not have seen in past years. And I think for so many different reasons, but a lot of them being that people really have realized they do need each other. They want to be involved in developing things that are good for other people. And that the number one driver in any business is pride in what you do. And so we more or less had that discussion last week, and then talked about this call would be related to the business story. And of course, our business is all about the story. we come to this call, and every time we hear the stories, we're in love with the speaker that shared their story, because it represents not only that person's success, but the fact that we have truly, we are part of something that does make a difference, that does have a purpose, that really makes a difference in other people's lives. But also, our business is something that I'm going to encourage you to fall in love with too, to have that same passion for the business model that we have for the product. And so we talk about the story being the foundation of everything. It all starts with a story. You heard Chandria, what do you all say when you start? You know, I started Juice Plus because, is that how you start your story? Chandria?
Yes, yes. That was the question I asked. Why, what's your why? Because of what?
Yeah. And so let's talk now tonight about the business story, because, you know, there was a time when people would say, oh, well, I can't tell a business story. I don't have an income. It's important to know that as soon as you make the decision to become a team member or partner, you have a business story because you have desire. You have desire. So let's talk about how that business story can shape up and how you can help people shape that business story, even if they've just signed their partner application. And the first thing would be, and it's back to what you just said, Chandria, is there's a why, there's a desire, there's something, and that desire can grow over time. It doesn't mean that you've got the full picture the minute you start. When I became a team member, my first desire was, I was financially terrified. I was in a difficult situation and I really needed income. My first goal was my daughter, I wanted to buy her a prom dress I couldn't afford. And then I really wanted to be able to create enough income to send my children to college. And so those were the first things. But usually, as time goes on, the those things expand, they evolve. Life presents itself in ways many times that you didn't expect. Some things are good, some are challenging. So that why is always evolving, but you start with a desire. And so what you're really going to share with people is the potential of what you see for yourself, because that potential is going to be something that people will be able to step into for themselves. And there's actually been studies, and I love social research, where they, research why people do the things they do or why they make the decisions they make. There's been a lot of social research on, uh, why people respond to things in regard to business, and especially a business like ours. And people respond to potential more than they do acquired gain. And I think this is real interesting. If I were to say to you, and it's true, that my sponsor makes hundreds of thousands of dollars every month, and he does, that would say, oh, that's great. But it's hard to picture that yourself because you maybe are just starting. You've not had an experience like that. Maybe you don't know anybody who's had an experience like that. So it's hard to relate. It's true, but it validates what is possible. But that's hard for a person to relate to. But a person can relate to the potential that you see for yourself. And they step into that potential with the desires that they have. So, Chandria, I'm going to go back to you and let's talk about your business story. And so, what attracted you? Because really, basically, what the business story is you identifying that, desire that you have for yourself, for your family, for your future, what that's going to mean to you. And then it grows into, what you find pride in doing. So, Chandria, what attracted you from a business standpoint? Because obviously the product got you, but what, from a business standpoint, was attractive to you?
What For me, I just didn't plan to even do the business, but it made sense once I saw how well it worked and how, the changes, and I just knew many people would benefit from it. So I understood, from a standpoint business wise, that this is a good source of income where you're already doing it. So why not create
Yeah.
the income? So,
Right.
it just made sense to me that if I'm going to be taking this and it works, and I'm making hundreds of dollars already without any effort. What if I put effort into it? Now I don't have to leave my house, and I can work from my phone. I can work from my house. I can do show, it just made sense. It just made sense.
Yeah. And so, again, she evolved into the decision because, as you just said, it made sense. Now, what is it that you like about it? What is it that feels good? And you can work from your home. You just said that. You can work from your phone. You're going to be sharing it with people anyway, so why not get paid for it? And now Chandria at this point has grown up into one of our leadership positions. She's well on her way to national marketing director. Uh, she and Charlene both. And so tell me about what the business looks like to you now. What do you hope it will be for you?
So for me, it has not really changed. I've had to, do some changing of your mindset, because, life happens, things happen in everybody's life. But for me and Charlene, because that's my buddy, and pretty much our team, we do everything together. But for us, the business has changed into how can we reach more people without one person at a time, excuse me, doing one person at a time. So we've had to rethink our strategy and be smart about our business. I think of it this way: in the medical field, that's what my background is, medical field. So I choose to work smarter in the medical field versus working. And people thought it was crazy when I first started in the medical field. I did not have a full-time job in the medical field. I always contracted myself out, because for me it made more sense. Cut out the middleman and you can not work as hard. You're going there for 40 hours a week. If I can work 20 hours a week and still make more money than 40, why wouldn't I do that? So I think in the same way with Juice Plus, if I can reach more people that I know could benefit from this and are ready to make the changes, how do we need to do that? So that's our structure now with the business. Is we know who our customers are. We're very clear on that now. Very clear. And we're clear on how to reach them. So it's just, putting in the steps, the systems that work.
And so that's your business strategy. But I'd like for you to go back and share with me, excuse me, from a business standpoint, you were attracted because it made sense to make money if you were going to share it with other people. So the business made sense to you from that standpoint. As the business grows, what do you hope that does from just a financial standpoint? You know, if this could be anything you wanted it to be, uh, what would it look like?
It would look like, oh, that's a great question. It's a great question.
I have to tell you all, Chandra didn't know I was going to ask her any of this stuff.
No, it's a good question because it looks like many things. So I'll put it on this level. An oak tree just fell through my house. 100-year-old oak tree just fell through our garage Saturday. And I didn't have to worry about, oh, we don't have, insurance only covers a portion. You have a deductible. Don't have to worry about where's that money going to come from. I mean, I don't have to live with a tarp over my house and a tree in my yard for the next few months until I save up the money.
Right.
That's something practical that I think most people can relate to. I look at the fact that I have a nice savings to where it's not where I had to go work extra hours at the hospital and work overtime and work call to get it. I didn't have to travel away from my family, which I do sometimes for work, and stay for weeks at a time to build that savings account. It's been doing it consistently because I've been working my business. We worked very hard for the last 3 years in our business to create a solid business, and it's been able to literally pay off. So those are some practical things for me that it looks like, to where when I want to go out and buy a car, I can go buy a car if I want to pay a good portion of cash, if not all cash. If I want to get a privacy fence put up, I can do that because I've been working my business. I mean, those are practical things that I think everyday people.
Well, and those are very important. And I guess the point I'm trying to make here tonight is that if you just share with people when you talk about the business, the things that it brings to you, it's not a check amount. It's not like, oh, I've been doing this and I make this amount of money every month. that's really not what people identify with so much, but what they identify with is now when Chandria just said, a tree fell on my house a few days ago, and I'm going to be able to just take care of this because I've got this additional source of income, which gives me freedom of choice in times that might be challenging. Or if I want to make a decision that I want to have a privacy fence put up or I want to do whatever, I now can make those choices. If I want to buy a new car, it's not okay. How long do I have to maneuver financially before I can do that? So what it's given you is definitely freedom to make the choices at the time you want to make them to you really create a comfort in life that maybe wouldn't be available, even though, like you said, you would be able to take care of things, but this makes it a lot easier and makes it a lot more comfortable and feels good. When you share those types of things with people and you talk about our business, it opens a door for that person to step into the potential of what they would like to be able to do in their lives. And so it's a very important part of the business story to say, I was attracted to the business. If I'm going to talk about Chandria's story, I was attracted to the business because it just made sense that if I love the product as much as I do, and I was going to be telling people about it, I might as well create income from it. Is that what you just said to me? Okay. And so the business made sense. It wasn't that she had a picture that it was going to become any more than I did, that, it has the potential to grow into a multi-million-dollar business as far as production, which it does. But it got started with, it just made sense. Now it made sense. They were very consistent. The other thing I hear in her story is, what did she say? We worked, we were consistent, we figured out, we worked really hard. And Chandria, just tell folks a little bit about how you began to put that together, where you found the people, how did you reach out to them? I think you all did presentations in your house, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we have parties in our house now. No. Yeah, Charlene is the party animal. I have to pull her down sometimes. Never joking. We have a good
I
time.
believe you. I believe you.
Yeah. We
Colleen,
have a good time, but we love to pamper ourselves. So we understood that, you know, we had to create something that we knew how to do, which was cook. We know how to cook plant-based and raw, and we're trying to talk about healthy living. We need to give people something besides salads. My friends don't like salads as much as I don't like salads. I need some lasagna and macaroni and cheese, but I can show you how to do that healthy. And then while I have my captive audience, now we can talk about Juice Plus and then have a towel garden sitting right there in the middle of the presentation, and then give them something else they like, which is a massage down with some massage therapists and estheticians in my basement. So we used to have things like that. We had spa parties where it was all about wellness, but it had a component of everything in it where people were not held hostage or felt like, oh, I'm just here to hear a presentation. They were engaged, they were entertained, they were educated about wellness. And Juice Plus was the foundation of that wellness. We also, go ahead.
So what she's saying is that she and Charlene were consistent with activities that gathered people together and did things that they enjoyed. Now, I do hear, and we're going to get back to it, hopefully, crystal bowl, sound bath meditation. A lot of my team here in Los Angeles loves to come to that. And so we'll lay around, get all relaxed out, and then we're going to talk about Juice Plus, after. So whatever it is, it could be, some people just will have wine and wellness, or they'll, whatever it is that you like, but it's gathering people consistently to create the exposure and tell the story. And it's product stories, but it's also business stories. And it's very important to share with people, whether it's one-on-one, whether it's in a group like that, wherever it is, what it is that drew you to the business. What is it that you saw for yourself? What's the potential that you see? Chandria has just shared with you the things that have evolved because of the potential that was there. So telling people what she just told us about, I can take care of that, that that makes a huge difference because the person now can think, well, I would like to have that little bit of edge or leeway. For me, what I shared with people in the beginning was I really, I want to feel comfortable that I can create enough income and save enough income that I can send my children to college. And that was before student loans or anything like that. You had to put it together before they went. And so, which may have been a good thing, but because they weren't left with the student loan. But that was my goal. So what people stepped into when I told what I was looking for was to, I wanted to be able to do things that I knew I couldn't do on a teacher's salary. So people step into the potential of what you see for yourself. Now, let me ask you this, Chandria, as this continues to grow, and as you grow into national marketing director, and of course, you're going to have benefits. What do you see for yourself in the future as far as business is concerned? If this could be anything you wanted it to be, what would it look like?
Cheryl, wow. um,
Okay.
yeah, I would say it would look like definitely a larger group of people sharing the mission. Um, I don't know. I have to think about that one. That one's pretty.
Well, and but from a standpoint of being able to stretch even further financially, what would be your goal of things that you would be able to do that get even bigger than what you're doing now?
Oh, financially, I would be able to. I like to travel, so my husband and I usually take a 30-day trip once a year. So I would stretch that to a few 30-day trips during the year. um, you know, um, I would probably get a second home. Get a second home, but more than likely redo my mother-in-law's house, redo her house for her, give her the kitchen she's always dreamed of. She's an amazing cook. And give her the kitchen that she wants, and the bathroom and a home that she can age into now that she's in her 80s, and a widow. So those are things that I could really see, doing with increased income.
So that's very, very powerful because again, you're not only sharing at this point, and Chandria's been at this for, a few years, what, couple of years, truth. I've lost total track of time with the pandemic.
March of 2019.
Okay. So not that long, really. Okay. But her business is growing and it's strong. And it's, as I said, she's in a leadership position at this point, but it will continue to grow because of the activity. So what does that look like financially? So it's your dreams, it's your desires, it's the potential that you see for yourself that other people step into. And that's what you want your business story to be, is this is what I see for myself. This is why I share this with people every day. Again, if I look at my 34 years, my first thing was I wanted to be able to breathe financially. And everybody else around me was in the same condition. We're going to figure out how to breathe financially. We're going to survive. So we had more or less it was that survival attitude, that mentality that came together. We're going to take control of this. Our lives are not going to be in the condition they are now. We're going to change that. So that was the first driving force. Some people have that situation, some don't. But everybody has the desires, that things they would do if I could, I would. What you just said was, as soon as this continues to grow, it's one of those things. If I could, I would. I would create you build that kitchen for your mother, you build a bathroom, you would. And almost always what you're going to hear people say are things that not only they would see for themselves or their family, but that they would do for others. Um, you never know what's coming along in life, and you want to be able to take care of those things, but to really identify what you would do going forward as your business grows is very, very powerful in sharing that with other people from a standpoint of the business story. And we all have dreams and desires, even if we haven't, if we've just signed that distributor partner application, you've got those dreams of things that you want to do. There were things I wanted to do for my children, for my family. There's one particular, charity that it took me years before I could get to the point where I can write them a check every month. But that feels really, really good because this is a personal group of it's a charity where I know the people very well, and I see the money, really being used in a way that's amazing. So, as your business grows, you'll be able to stretch further and further. But you want to share that from the very beginning. And the truth of the matter is, your business story, when you share the potential of what you see for yourself, your dreams, your desires, that's, first of all, that's very vulnerable to do that, because you're letting people in on that personal part of you that wants to achieve, but achieve for very, realistic reasons. Then other people step into that picture in their mind with their own dreams and desires, with their desire to either send their child to a private school, maybe, or to help their own parents, or to be able to be free of financial debt. Many people carry huge debt that you wouldn't know by looking, but there's a huge stress level that goes along with that. I remember once, I know many of you are familiar with Dr. Bill Sears. He's not only somebody who loves our product, but he was like the Dr. Spock of our day here. And he's a pediatrician I know most of you know him, but he did a presentation for me, I guess it's been about 4 years ago, when we were having big presentations at the house here. And I probably had about 80, 90 people. And so he asked the audience, he said, what do you think is the main reason that people go to doctors? He said, what do you think is the number one reason? And people raised their hands and said things like, well, maybe, is it cancer? Is it heart disease? Diabetes? He said, well, those things are all big. This is not the number one. Anybody want to guess on what the number one is?
Stress.
Financial stress. That people go into doctors' offices, and when as they have the conversation about what is really the issue, it's going to be financial stress and fear.
She froze. Oh, where'd she go?
She's back. She's just muted.
Okay. Oh, there she is. Yep.
I'm sorry about that. I might be freezing up. Is it freezing up a lot?
Just a little, not bad. Like you come in and out, but that time you kind of popped out.
I did totally pop out.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sorry about that. We've been trying to work on that here. I'll probably have to get somebody who knows a little bit more about this. But anyway, what I was going to share is that if you can really, in telling your business story from day one, your business story actually becomes the close. If people will say, well, what's the close? How do I, speak to someone about my business and ask them to join? Or, what's the closing lines? It's really the potential, the business story, the desire that you have for what you see for yourself and why it's worth your time. All those things to be able to share with people too. And I would make notes on this. What do you feel like is your purpose? What draws you to this from a purpose standpoint? What do you feel like it's going to do for you from a standpoint of, just being able to grow? And then pride. Why do you find pride in what you do? People are very ready and want to connect with things that they can feel proud of, that can bring a certain amount of significance as far as being proud of what they're involved in. So if you can really look, and of course, I put Charlene on the spot tonight, and I appreciate it. But, I wanted us to be able to really realize and see, as you listen to her, weren't you able to plug in the things that you want to do in your life? the things that you want to, and they're there, they're those immediate things. Like for me, it was, I need to breathe financially. I don't want to wake up terrified every day and be in stress and fear over, how I'm going to pay the bills. But then once you get past that, what is the next thing that you want for yourself and your family? Take that and really go through it in your mind and, make lists of it, really look at it, know it, but then be able to talk about it and share it with other people, that this is what I see. These are the things that are important. These are the things that I value. This is, I have pride in what I do because for these reasons. The stories that you hear, the lives that it changes, all of those things become an important part of the business story when you tell people and you invite people to be part of your business. And now I will say this. I've been at this with this company for 34 years. I have watched times, and you get to where you get a feel for it, when you know that we're on the verge of what I would call the next big wave of business. Okay, we've come out of the situation where everybody was, it's almost like we were held down in a lot of ways, not just from a business standpoint, but just life locked us down. And so there's a great desire to get out and do something, to evolve, to grow. It's going to be a time of real growth in many different directions for people. But people today are more awake than they've ever been as far as the need and the desire to boost their immune system, build their bodies, take care of their health. I mean, Jennifer so inspired me tonight when she's talking about 34 laps and 3 or 4 miles. It's like, oh my God, I'm just a slug over here. Okay. So, stories are very inspiring, but this is the time to put team together, because people are going to respond to you as they never have before. The product's going to make sense. The business is going to make sense because everybody has dreams and desires to put their life back together and to do it many times in different ways. You've heard it called the Great Resignation, people not wanting to go back necessarily to the jobs that they've had before, but it's really the Great Renaissance, where they're going to reinvent, the way that they create their lives so that there is more time, so that there's more family time, so that there's more joy in the hours that they have. And we fit that bill so well. So I can assure you, and just from historical reference, I watched our business. I mean, we look back to something like 9/11. We were at first just terrified. How is this going to affect our business? Because we saw businesses totally fold. And this has been, 20 years ago now, more than 20 years. We saw businesses fold that didn't have any reason to fold. And yet we had a huge growth spurt because, and if I look back on it, it's because people wanted to be in control of their lives. And we're back to people want to be in control of their lives. They want to be in control of their health. They want to be in control of their income. And many times when things that are very challenging happen, then you see people come out with a whole different perspective. And it has always created a huge response as far as our business growth. So I would encourage you that now is the time to really stretch out, invite any and everybody, give them the option to be part of your mission, part of your team, and make sure you share with them what it is you see for yourself, what it is you desire. Chandria, it's all those things that you desire, all those things that as you go forward, people want to be able to step into a picture where they see themselves achieving all those heart's desires and those dreams. So that's really your business story right there, is what it is that you see for yourself. So I think we're just about out of time here. Once again, I want to thank everybody. And again, something too, I'm seeing Charlene Woodruff's picture up here, and I go back to Jennifer. And we're talking about consistency. And where do you find people that you're going to share what you have with them? How often did you go into that health food store, Charlene? How long did you do that before Jennifer?
For 2 years. 2 years.
2
So one
years.
day I took the bottles and went in made an appointment and I talked with her and that was it.
Yeah. So, but what she did was she created a friendship. She built a relationship. She was consistent with that friendship. And she went in, and by that time, it wasn't just Charlene walking off the street with bottles in her hand. It was a friend who came in with bottles in her hand and totally changed Jennifer's life. Okay. So how many people can you enroll to be part of that mission? How many people can you share your dreams with, your desires, what you see for yourself, so that they can step into that picture and use all the stories that we already have for validation that that's real? And how much pride do you have in your business because you're able to do that? We're all so proud of what we're able to be part of. Charlene, how does it make you feel when you hear Jennifer tell her story?
Just absolutely awesome and proud, and knowing that it was all well worth it.
It was well worth it. It was well worth those 2 years, right? The other thing about years, I'll hear people say, well, it's going to take me, 2 years to do this, or, it'll take me this long. Well, you know what? The 2 years are going to pass anyway. The time goes by. So why not utilize that time in a consistent fashion that really lays the foundation for what can be a beautiful outcome? So it's a very exciting time. I wish you all a happy St. Patrick's Day. I had only one green thing, so I'll put it on here. Okay. But wish the luck of the Irish to everyone. And, we all really stretch out and put our arms around people and invite them to be part of this mission, because we're the people that can make the difference. And so I truly feel like it's a moral obligation. If you're going to be at the conference with us in Anaheim, I'll probably see you all there. I'm now all psyched about being out and about. And so if not, if you're going to enjoy the conference from a local area, that's great too. Or even if it's virtual. But let's all get really, really active in telling our stories, our business stories, what we see for ourselves, and why we're up doing this every day with a lot of joy and fun and excitement and determination and commitment, because those things are all possible, and let other people step into the potential of that story. Okay, so it's been great talking to everybody. Thank you, Charlene. Thank you all the people who shared. And thank you, Chandria. Beautiful job too on interviewing everyone. And we have great thanks to Carol Turnbow, because she keeps this thing going every week. Okay, thank you all. And also bring people back to this. Just look at how wonderful it is to hear the stories. Don't you feel good tonight? Because you got to hear such great things and you had something to do with it. Everybody does who participates. So good night, folks. See you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Great
Night,
stories
everyone.
Good night.
tonight.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great
So
Everybody.
much.
Bye-bye.
Wonderful
Good night.
stories.
Y'all have a wonderful. Bye-bye.
Awesome.
Thank
Good
you.
night. Good night.
Bye. Good night.
Everyone.
Great
Call everybody.
good night, everybody.